Paper Avalanche, Chapter 2, Part 2. My mum, Bonnie, doesn't really discriminate when it comes to her collecting, but it's definitely paper that dominates. Newspapers, battered paperbacks, leaflets, catalogues, bills, receipts, handwritten letters, postcards, travel brochures, shopping lists, old telephone books, calendars and diaries from years gone by. Notebooks filled with empty pages, recipes and vouchers clipped from the pages of magazines, envelopes separated from their original contents, old train tickets and greetings cards, hundreds of unsent greetings cards, birthday cards, Christmas cards, congratulations cards, thank you cards, get well soon cards, each one of them blank inside. Sometimes I try to ignore the mess, not to let it get to me, or I try telling myself that it could be worse, that Bonnie could be known as what is a dirty hoarder, and the house could be full of used sanitary towels and human excrement. So aren't I actually quite lucky? Occasionally my pep talks work. Not tonight though. Tonight every single scrap of paper makes me want to scream at the top of my lungs until my voice is hoarse and my throat red raw. I brace myself and push open the living room door. Bonnie is sitting in the one available spot, a floral armchair with a broken footrest and a lumpy seat cushion, the fabric discoloured from years of occupation. A large glass of red wine is balanced precariously on the stack of old newspapers, acting as a makeshift side table. Bonnie. Never mum, mummy or mother, just Bonnie. We look nothing like each other. While Bonnie is tanned, albeit out of a bottle, and blonde, and comic book curvy, I'm pale and mousy and straight up and down. The only feature that's vaguely similar is our eyes, big and rain cloud grey, and exactly the same shape, drooping down ever so slightly at the sides. Sad eyes, my gran, my dad's mum, once remarked with more than a hint of disapproval. Just like your mother's. I spent ages in the mirror after that, smiling inanely at my reflection in an attempt to fight what nature had given me, but it was no good. My gran was right. Even with the biggest, toothiest grin on my face, my eyes can't help but tell a different story. Bonnie is wearing one of her stage outfits, a low-cut red sequin dress with a split up the right thigh. From afar it looks great, but up close it's difficult to miss the loose threads and numerous sequinless patches. Her shoes, a pair of matching glittery heels that she has to respray before every gig, lie abandoned on the floor, the soles scored with scissors to prevent her from slipping on stage. The red clashes with her brassy blonde hair, hard and crunchy to the touch from all the backcombing and hairspray she subjects it to before each gig. I don't know for sure, but I'd hazard a confident guess that when Jamie imagined the sort of person who might live in a place like this, he wasn't picturing Bonnie. My eyes fall on the half-smoked cigarette smouldering in an ashtray on Bonnie's lap. You do know that if that goes over, this whole place would go up in flames, I say. This entire house is one massive fire hazard, a big fat bonfire just waiting for a match. Sorry, Bonnie says, her eyes flickering with annoyance at the interruption. Both the television and radio are blaring. Sweet-talking guy by the chiffons battling to be heard over an episode of a reality TV show I don't know the name of. I swear under my breath as I search for the radio, eventually locating it nestled among the pile of junk covering the sofa. I turn it off and repeat what I just said. Don't get at me, Ro, not tonight, Bonnie says, lifting the cigarette to her lips and taking a hungry drag. Why, what happened? I thought you had a gig, I say, looking for somewhere to put the radio before giving up and tossing it back where I found it. Ha! Bonnie says, stubbing out the cigarette. On the TV, a group of bronzed and bejewelled women are gesticulating wildly as they screech at each other. Bonnie appears enthralled, but it makes my head hurt. Can you turn that down a bit, I ask, pointing at the screen. Bonnie sighs, lifting the remote like it's made from lead and reducing the volume by a few notches. What happened to your gig? I ask, finally able to hear myself properly. It was cancelled, Bonnie replies, peeling off her false eyelashes, each of them thick with layers of old glue. Discarded on the armchair, they look like a pair of dead spiders. Why, I ask. Oh, booking cock up at their end. Bloody bastards rang me when I was halfway up the pissing M1 and told me not to bother turning up. Are they still paying you? She tuts. I wish. But that's not fair. Tell me about it. Have you spoken to Pip? What did he say? Bonnie removes her chandelier earrings, draping them next to her eyelashes. The cheap glass catches the light. Bonnie, did you hear me? Have you spoken to Pip? It's his job to sort stuff like this out. Pip's not working for me anymore, Bonnie says, not quite meeting my eye as she massages her red earlobes. Why not? I sacked him. You sacked your manager, I splutter. When? just after Easter. All I can do is stare. She sacked Pip over 3 months ago and didn't think to say anything. Even now she's acting like it's no big deal, humming as she reaches for a wine. Why didn't you tell me, I ask? She breaks off from her humming. Because I knew you'd only go and make a big deal out of it. What happened? We had a falling out. Over what? He was rude about my set and I can't work with someone who has no faith in me. It stifles my creativity. But we're skint. Over the last few months, I'd opened our bank statements and watched our balance steadily fall. Now I know why. Oh, don't be dramatic. We're fine, Bonnie says. We're not fine, I cry. We've been overdrawn for ages now and I keep telling you, but you never listen. Bonnie closes her eyes and rubs the bridge of her nose. Please don't get at me, Ro, not tonight. I've just driven halfway to Manchester and back for sweet FA. I'm tired and I'm fed up and all I want to do is have a glass of wine and watch a bit of telly and forget about the whole bloody fiasco for a few hours. Is that really too much to ask? Yes! We've got loads of bills coming out of the account next week. If we don't top it up, we'll be even more in the red. So we go a bit further into the overdraft. Isn't that what they're for? How would you even know? You haven't opened a bank statement in about 5 years. Attitude! Bonnie cries, pointing an accusing finger towards my face. I shake my head. Attitude is Bonnie's go-to reprimand when she has no other defence left. Look, I never asked you to deal with the banking, she says. My eyes bulge. Is she for real? Fine, I'll stop